it's your girl, and for those of you who are joining for the first time, welcome. I'm so excited to have you here. So today we're gonna do a look that's a little more bronzy. We are very focused on the shimmer, on the bronze. This is to help match the wonderful tan that you have been building. As you can tell, I've gotten a little bit myself. And this is going to be a really beautiful and like beachy kind of look that you can take day or night. So let's get started. So I'm going to start off with a clean face, obviously, but I'm also going to recommend Coola. Now this is the Daydream Mineral Primer. So for those of you who are a little bit more sensitive, this is really great. It's a bigger, healthier option. It's cruelty-free and it's based around plant protection. So I am obsessed with this. This is something that I've been using with or without makeup. It has an SPF of 30, so it's perfect for the day. I highly recommend having it. No matter what you're doing to protect your skin from the sun. I'm gonna put that all over. So I do have to warn you, if you have oily skin, don't expect this to make you really matte. I wouldn't rely on this solely. I prefer it for summer because obviously I love products that have SPF in them. This one's not going to make it, again, very matte. It is a good pore filler, but it's not gonna continue keeping you not shiny. That makes sense. But totally worth it. So I have oily skin and I love it because it's one of those things that, again, I can wear with or without makeup. If I want to go lighter on my face, I just put this on. Again, when it comes to summer, I don't worry too much about being so matte because you're in the sun anyways. You're going to be a hot mess, and I'd rather be protected and be a hot mess than try and look so glammed but then put my skin at risk. So I really highly recommend it. It's really great. It's easy to use. It smells so good. Oh my god. So again, this is really, I would say it's good for all skin types. Just beware that if you do have oily skin, it's not gonna keep you matte throughout the entire day. So now that that's all done, I'm gonna get started with my foundation and begin to put on my face. So let's go. Okay, so we're starting with my foundation. It is the Nars Velvet Matte Skin Tint. And of course, I love this stuff because it keeps me flawless all day and it just stays in place. So I'm just patting it in the skin and just getting it nice and even before I start blending it out. Alright, so my holy grail, that is Nars Skin Tint right there. So now I'm going to begin blending in the foundation that I just put. So I got a flat tip brush and I'm spraying it with a little bit of the Fix Plus by MAC, and I'm just going to press in a little bit on the skin and then begin to make sure that it's all blended out in my entire face and that it looks all even and absolutely gorgeous. So if you noticed earlier, I did take it below the jawline and I'm going to take it into the neck as well. So now that we're done blending,
we're going to just swipe off a little bit of the excess bristles that get left over sometimes, and then we're going to move on to the concealer. So my concealer is the LA Girl Pro Conceal, which is a dream on my face. I absolutely love it and swear by it. So right now I'm currently trying to squeeze it out because I'm running out. Thank God I have another sample already of it. And now I'm going to put it all over the under eye. One of the reasons why I love this concealer so much is because I do have these little fine lines underneath my eyes. And most concealers like to settle in those lines and make me feel like I look like an old lady, which I am not yet. So that's why I really, really love this, because it really helps prevent that. It keeps it looking a lot smoother below. So I'm making sure that I'm trying to highlight the best parts of my face. And I'm also going to take it close to the jawline as well. So I'm using a little bit of the excess to put right there. So now we're going to take a wet beauty blender and we're going to blend all that gorgeous concealer into the under eye, the eye itself, and anywhere else I have conceal. So blend, blend, blend. So now that that's all blended in, I'm going to go in with the Prep+Prime highlighter and light boost, and I'm just going to put a little bit in the under eye and then also on my eyelid. I really like this highlighter because it adds a more brightness to the face. It works really well once you put in the shadow highlighter. And it really just looks amazing in pictures and makes you just have a even more glow. And then I'm just going to blend that all in with my damp beauty blender. So now that we're completed our blending process, I'm going to go in and set all my entire face with the Maybelline Fit Me Matte+Poreless pressed powder. I am a really big fan of this. I talked about it in my first video. I was quite impressed with how it actually sits on the face. It is very nice. It does keep me matte on most of the day. My usual go-to is usually Cover FX, but this is actually not a bad alternative, and it's definitely a lot cheaper. So now I'm just going to continue trying to make sure that this is fully blended. Make sure that as you're going along, you take it also below the jawline as we did with the foundation earlier. So now we're done setting the face. It's time to move on to the eyes, and I'm actually going to be putting on an eyeshadow primer, and this one's by Urban Decay. It is the eyeshadow primer potion in the original, and I love it. I've been using it for the longest time, so a little bit goes a long way. All I do is put a small little dot on one of my fingers, usually one of my middle fingers, and then I spread it to the other one. So then it evens it out, and then I begin to pat it lightly all over my eyelid. I wouldn't recommend using a little bit. If you put too much, it becomes very, very hard to work with, and you can start to see it all over your face because it doesn't play very nice. So we're just going to blend that in, and then we're going to move on to our eyeshadow look. So here I'm just giving you a little bit more face because, you know, who doesn't love a good face? So the palette I'm working with today is the Alamar Reina de Caribe. We're going to start with the shadow Coco-Taxi, which is a nice like yellow orangey blend. We're going to take a flat brush and we're going to pack as much as we can, and then I'm going to put that all over the lid and then bring it all the way up to the brow. Get that nice and even and just enjoy how pigmented this shadow palette is. I am obsessed. I can't talk about it enough. Just love it. So next I'm going to go in with a blending brush. So this is one of my favorites by Sedona Lace, and I'm just going to kind of smooth out the top of the eye just below the brow and kind of mellow out the color so that the actual eyelid stays way more intensified. So we're just going to continue doing that until it mellows out the color. So next we're going to go in with a smudge brush, and this is also by Sedona Lace. I'm going to actually take more of that Coco-Taxi and I'm going to put it all over the lower lid. We're going to do that for both eyes before we move on to our next shadow. So we're going to clean off our smudge brush and we're going to actually reuse it for a different shadow. So I'm actually going to use Tropico, not the color I just pointed at. As you can see, yes, wrong, indecisive. Sometimes can't make decisions very quickly. And with this one, I'm going to actually put it in the crease of my eye. So I really like this color because it's a nice orangey red and it just kind of creates this very fire-ish look. And it blends out beautifully. So we're going to add that in and then we're going to blend it out so it just smooths perfectly in this crease. Okay, so next we're going to go in with an angle brush, also by Sedona Lace. And I'm going to take the shadow Cafecito, which is a nice brown, dark brown color. And I'm going to put that into the crease of my eye as well. So I'm going to start with a little bit and kind of trace it out before I blend it in. I'm also going to put this shadow on the lower eyelid as well. So now that we have that all blended out, I'm going to take a little bit more of the Cafecito and put it into the crease just to create a little bit more definition before I add it to the lower eyelid. So now I'm going to go in with a blending brush and just kind of blend those two colors that we just put in and just make sure that it's nice and even and kind of just spread it out a little bit more, especially towards the corner of the eye. And then next I'm going to go back with my angle brush and I'm going to add that Cafecito to my lower lid. And blend, blend, blend. So you'll notice as I'm using the angle brush, I am actually sweeping the Cafecito up towards my upper lid and creating a nice little mini wingtip. So I'm going to take whatever's left over on my angle brush and I'm going to add it to my crease just to keep the nice definition in my eye. So next I'm going to move on to a small little flat brush and we are going to take the shadow a la Costa, which is a nice beautiful rosy pink shimmery shadow, and we're going to add that to the lid just below the crease, and we're going to pack that in so that it shimmers and shines. So as you can tell, I'm putting a little bit at a time just so I can get it right and it doesn't end up all over the place. So you can definitely see how amazingly and pigmented this shimmer is. I haven't even wet my brush and you can see it. It is just absolutely gorgeous. I'm in love. So I'm making sure that my shadow is even. I'm going to go in with a blending brush and I'm going to just kind of blend in the crease as some of the shimmer has gotten into it. So I just want to make sure it's nice and even and doesn't take away my definition. Okay, so we're going to clean off our blending brush, and then I'm going to go in with my angle brush, and I'm going to take a little bit more of that Cafecito and I'm going to put it into the crease to make sure that we have a nice brown contour on the eye as the shimmer has lined it up. So once this is done, I'm going to go in and re-blend it out. Okay, so I'm going to go back in with my small little flat brush. I'm going to take a little bit more of La Costa and put it right back on the lid just to keep it nice and vibrant. So next I'm going to go in with another smudge brush, and I'm actually going to take the shadow El Malecon, and we're going to put this on the inner corner of my eyes. So this is a nice, bright, almost semi-glittery shimmer color that has like a slight green tint to it, but it is so beautifully bright and adds such a nice little glow to the inner eye. So make sure to pack that in pretty nicely and blend it out into the rest of the lower lid and upper lid. Alright, so next we're going to go back with our blending brush, and we're actually going to blend out the crease just to make sure everything is nice and even after all that shimmer and all that contour and highlight that we just added. I want to make sure that it's all nice and even and that we keep the definition where it needs to be. Okay, so next I'm going to go in with a liner. This one is Jonteblu, and it's a dark brown eyeliner, and I'm going to add it to my waterline as well as the lash line on my upper lid. This is going to create a nice little deep definition in the eye as well as fill out the lash line and create a fuller look before we put on our falsies. Alright, so next we're going to start with contouring the face, and I'm actually using the Too Faced Sun Bunny Bronzer, and with my flat kabuki brush I'm going to begin to contour the hollows of my face just below the cheekbone, as well as my temples and my jawline into my neck, and then also shape out my nose. So we're actually going to do 2 different bronzers. We're going to use this one as well as the Too Faced Chocolate Soleil. I really like switching between the two because they add a bronzy yet shimmery glow look. And of course, this is what we're looking for. So next I'm going to go in with an angle fluffy brush and I'm going to blend all this contour out so it creates a much more natural look on the face. So a little quick trick that you can use is also use a small little flat brush to blend out your nose. Sometimes I even use this to actually put on the bronzing powder as well as your fingers themselves. So as I said before, we're going to go back to the Sun Bunny and add a little bit more into the original contour that we put in just to add more shimmer and glow to our contour and to our face. So next we're going to take the Sedona Lace Powder and Blush palette and I'm going to use this beautiful peach color as our blush. Using a highlighter taper brush, also a fluffy brush by Luxie Cosmetics, I'm going to use this to put the blush onto our face. So we're going to put it on the apples of our cheeks. If you don't necessarily have a natural apple cheek kind of face, use the cheekbone as your guide to put on your blush. So make sure your blush is all blended out and that it's not too much. It looks very natural. When I was putting it on, it looked like I put too much on one side, so I had to make sure. Also, if you ever feel like you put a little too much, use a clean brush just to kind of smooth it out and take off any excess. So next I'm going to fill in and shape my brows. I'm using the NYX Brow Pencil in Espresso. And I'm using the spoolie just to brush them out before I begin to shape them. So it makes it really, really easy. As you can tell, one of my brows is actually shorter than the other naturally. It's always been that way. So it's very convenient for me to use a brow pencil or a brow mascara or pomade. So once I line them, I go back in and just make sure that the pencil has smoothed out and filled in most of my brow before I move in with the brow mascara. So the one that I'm using today is the NYX Tinted Brow Mascara in black. Actually looks brown, does not look black. It's just the name of the shade of mascara. So I love this because it's easy to just kind of brush through your brows and give them a nice fill in and give them a little bit more of a thicker look. So I actually like to make funny faces until I feel like my brows are perfect. I like to make sure that they are shaping the way I want them to as I am making all kinds of expressions. And I go in and correct anything that it needs to be corrected. So now that my brows are perfect, I'm going to go in with the Cosmetics Sculptor Highlighter and Contour Palette. I'm going to take the Trailblazer highlighter and use a nice fluffy brush. And I'm going to actually add this to the space that's in between my blush and my lower eye, as you can see there. And adding that more and more in and creating a V. So I'm taking in that highlighter into the temple as well, so that it's nice and shimmery as I'm outside or when I take pictures. I'm also going to take a little bit on my middle finger and add it to the center of my nose to also add highlight as well. Next, I'm going to go in with a smudge brush and I'm going to take that Trailblazer and I'm going to actually add it to the arch of my brow to create more of a higher brow arch. As well as continue to add a nice shimmer to my eyes.
Okay, loves, we're almost done, so I'm just gonna put on my falsies real quick and we will finish this up. And we are back, so I have the lashes on, a little bit more eyeliner that I used before. So now I'm going to do the lips as my final thing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually neutralize my lip color because it seems to be a little dark every time I put darker or semi like neutral colors. So all I'm going to do is take my beauty blender that I was using before and I'm just going to dab until it looks a little bit more concealed. Okay, so I think we're about done. And for the lip product, it's going to be Ofra. And it's in Verona. So you can tell it's kind of like a nude brownish color, which is why I needed to neutralize my color. That's on there. I'm gonna put a little pink on it. So this is actually MAC and this is in Please Me in a matte. So now it has a little bit more of a pink tint. And we are done. So I am definitely in love with this look. It's a little lighter than the one that I did previously. It's definitely a fun beachy look. It's definitely full on bronze, which is what I really wanted to, because as you should be going throughout your summer, you're definitely gonna be tanner and you should have a look that matches. So if you found this video very helpful, give me a thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. Also, you can follow me on the makeup phase. And until next time, bye loves. Mwah.